Now, as I read my comments, which they were quite a few of them on there, and I read what everybody was saying, and I was kind of dumbfounded, thinking, wow, how can everybody still feel so strongly about Brian Kohberger being innocent? All the evidence does not lead to Brian Kohberger. It actually leads away from Brian Kohberger. As I was investigating this case, I would see ways where Brian Kohberger could do this, and I wouldn't report on it.
And he doesn't have the balls, like I do, to sit here and fucking say Kohberger's guilty. You guys are wrong.
True crime community. True crime community has been infiltrated. True crime king. Back.
Guys, real quick, before we begin, I want you to take note of this clickbait title that Embree is using here. It's called The Revealing True Search 2. Uncovered evidence of forcing a deal with Kohberger. Hashtag Idaho 4. What a clickbait-ass title.
Hello. Welcome to The Revealing. I'm your host, Pavarotti, and I'm here to discuss the Idaho 4 case.
Great.
And, you know, the last few days...
Pavarotti? What the hell is that?
Been pretty tough. You know, Pav's been pretty mad at the entire situation. And...
yeah, I bet, because you've been wrong, and you've been lying to all these people the whole fucking time, dude.
I'll be the first to tell you. That's why I held back on doing videos for a couple of days. And I said, let's just hold back and see what happens. And then when I watched that hearing and I watched Brian Kohberger say yes to he was guilty of going in the house and committing the crimes, I mean, I was really floored.
Yeah, so real quick, guys. For those of you that are, you know, commenting still saying he's innocent, Brian Kohberger literally stood in front of the judge and everybody in the courthouse and said, yes, I am guilty. Yes, I committed the crimes, the murders. I mean, it's ridiculous how these people can still say that he's innocent, right? Like this guy. He said, oh, I didn't make videos for a couple days because I was so floored. No, because you were fucking wrong, dude. And you needed to come up with a strategy on how you could save your freaking reputation, right? So the only real solution that these pro-burgers that have been saying he's innocent for the last 2-3 years, they have to say double down. You know, they have to, because if they don't, they're going to look like idiots. They're going to, I mean, nobody's going to be able to trust them ever again, right? Because they've been lying to you or wrong the whole time, right? So why would anybody listen or believe them after this, right? That's Pavarotti.
And the only thought that I could have was, I mean, he was obviously one of the guilty parties in this, and he's admitting it. And why would I not believe the words that are coming out of his mouth?
Exactly, right? But wait, I guarantee you, he's going to say, oh, he was coerced. He was forced to do it. Give me a break, right? I mean, the Kohberger's got a lawyer, right? If anybody would have put a hand on this dude, the biggest murder case in America, right? The most high-profile suspect, right? If anything shady would have happened to Brian Kohberger, it would have been everywhere. Give me a break.
And I reacted to that, and I reacted pretty harsh. Because anybody that was involved in the atrocity on King Road, I mean, I have zero respect for, and I want nothing more than damage to be done to them.
Correct.
And so when I put out the video yesterday, I put it out sincerely. Now, as I read my comments, which they were quite a few of them on there, and I read what everybody was saying, and I was kind of dumbfounded, thinking, wow, how can everybody still feel so strongly about Bryan Kohberger being innocent? And then I realized,
exactly. You know what? For the life of me, I'll never understand it. I mean, I think common sense is just going out the window. I just don't know what's happening, right? You have a guy that literally admitted to the killings. His DNA is at the crime scene on the murder weapon sheath, right? His car is on camera going back and forth at the time of the murders 3 or 4 times. And keep going on and on and on, right? And come to find out, the DoorDash driver had a camera in their car, and the DoorDash driver caught Bryan Kohberger's car. I mean, come on, right? How much evidence? What would you guys need to actually, for everybody to be on the same page and say, yes, Bryan Kohberger did it, if not for him admitting his guilt, right? And plus all the evidence to go along with it, right? My head's gonna explode.
That, me and others have pointed out how the state's case is obviously wrong in this case. All the evidence does not lead to Bryan Kohberger. It actually leads away from Bryan Kohberger.
Oh my God.
And then, of course, I made the statement that as I was investigating this case, I would see ways where Bryan Kohberger could do this, and I wouldn't report on it just out of respect for, innocent until proven guilty. I didn't feel the need to pile on to somebody that was getting piled on before trial. And I know some people took that as I was holding back evidence of his guilt, and that's not at all what I was doing. I would see never, ever did I see any evidence that the state alleged matching up to Bryan Kohberger.
What? Didn't see any evidence. You know what happened? This guy, he knew he was wrong, right? He took a couple days off, right? And then he looked at his comment section, and he doesn't have the balls, like I do, to sit here and fucking, say Kohberger's guilty. You guys are wrong. He doesn't have the cojones, right? So he's a flip-flopper, just like a drip dropper, right? Give me a break, man. You're pathetic, man.
It all went in the opposite direction of Bryan Kohberger. However, I would see ways where Bryan Kohberger could have been involved and could have been at the residence.
Which
but it was
one is it,
outside
man?
of what the state was alleging. So I wasn't about to, present speculative evidence against Bryan Kohberger and pile on to him. So I've never
his DNA is there.
seen any
He's
of the
on
state's
camera.
evidence that lines up in any way. I was not going to speculate on anything outside of the state's evidence against Bryan Kohberger, though. However, after reading so many of those comments and seeing...
See, here we go. After reading the comments should not have any bearing on your decision whatsoever, right? They should not. If you're gonna change your mind based on public opinion in the comment section, I don't know what you're doing giving opinions as a YouTube creator. It's ridiculous.
How passionate everybody is, and y'all know how passionate I've been on this thing. I mean, I can sit here and say that
you've been wrong,
I would
man.
see things that made me think Kohberger could have been involved, but I'm with y'all. Everything that I had seen went against the state's case, and
see, he said, I'm with y'all, meaning he's with the people in the comment section that still believe he's innocent after he fucking confessed to the murders. Right? Oh, wow. I'm glad you guys pointed me in this guy's direction. I'm just getting started with this guy.
I believe that he was factually innocent as well. And I'll tell you, as of right now, I still do. And
wow. Still does. And again, it's because of the comment section, right? He was taking the days off, reading the comments, and most of his fan base are Looney Tunes and still believe Brian Kohberger's innocent. So then he just has to double down, right? No balls, man. Embree, the ballless dude. That's what you are. Just getting started with this guy. Hit that like and subscribe, guys. I'm gonna keep doing this video. I'll do a part 2 tomorrow. Let me know what you guys think. And until next time, True Crime King, out.